Hi everybody, Cheryl and Lady coming to you from the Ladies Garden and Home. Today is a winter solstice and it's the longest night of the year, and I thought I'd take you on a winter tour of the garden, especially now before the big storm hits. So over here, this used to be the tomato bed where I had my slicing tomatoes. I took those out, and I also had put in the fall a whole bunch of different brassicas and kind of cool weather vegetables, things like Brussels sprouts, celery, which self-seeded itself after I let the older plants just go to flower. We've got broccoli rabe here, a bunch of carrots, some turnips, and let's see, what else do we have? Oh, and an artichoke. Now, artichokes aren't really cool weather plants, but in parts not that warmer than mine. They are perennial. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cover them up, and I'm going to hopefully create like a greenhouse effect. Now, this plastic, this is my third winter using them. It's so easy to put up. And they're just plastic row covers. It came with the little arches already inside, so I didn't have to put that together. This is also something that people very easily can do themselves if they're so inclined. This wasn't really very expensive either. I think I got all of this that I used throughout the garden for about 35 bucks. I don't remember where I got it, but I'm sure you can find it at a Home Depot, or if I can find it on Amazon, I'll link it below in the description. Alrighty. Now this lets some airflow through. All right, the plants that don't make it under the cover, they're kind of on their own. I did an entire video last winter on how to overwinter vegetables, and I'll link that also in the description below. But basically, it's just covering them up. If I have a little extra, I'll cover up those the celery in the front there, but I have so much more celery growing in the middle, I'm not that worried if I lose those plants. This bed here, you saw me plant garlic in a couple of weeks ago. And I've got some onions in here. I still have some carrots, and I think my leeks just didn't make it. There's also a dead mouse in here, which I will spare you the graphic. I'm going to have to take care of that. Moving on to this bed here, I've got some Swiss chard, which is actually in its second year now. Because I overwintered those last year and they continued to grow, although very slowly. And over here I have some carrots and onions that I planted actually in the spring. They never really took off, so if I lose them from the cold, that's not going to bother me so much. And if I do happen to get some carrots developed through the winter, that would be great. I also have here some echinacea, which does not need to be covered, but I'm doing this for the chard. Nice and cozy. Whew, that's sun. That's why it's so warm. It's actually only about 38 degrees right now. I'll have to look that up for Celsius. It actually feels more like it's in, I don't know, the upper 40s, 50s. So I didn't get to everything that I usually do with my fall cleanup. I had, as you know, Lady's surgery, and taking care of her took up a lot of time. She's doing very well, as you can see. But one of the things that I decided to just put off until the spring is this bed that I had the green beans and the corn in. And my plan anyway was just to kind of mulch in place with the debris from the green beans and the corn anyway. So everything is still kind of rooted in the ground, but it's all dead anyway. And I'm not seeing too many weeds, so I think it'll be fine. Over here, I have another artichoke plant, and I have, this is where the gladiolas were. I decided to just mulch very heavily with the gladiola leaves and leave it in the pot here for the winter. And for this, the artichoke, what I did is I cut back the leaves, the bigger leaves, and, left a good amount on the inside that are a little smaller. And then I used Lady's cone of shame from her surgery as like a little, what do you call those? Cloche. It's a little cloche. So I thought that was a good use for it. Over here in these grow bags are the broccoli, cauliflower, and a little bit more broccoli rabe. And as you can see, they are loving life. They are loving this, dipping into the 20s at night and then warming up, above freezing during the day. And I'm hoping to get some heads before it really, really turns, single digits. But hopefully we'll have some time for that. I know that in a lot of parts of the country, the Thursday and the Friday before Christmas this year are going to be hit with, a bomb cyclone, really bad winter storm. We're supposed to get rain on Thursday, and then it's supposed to drop really significantly. But our lows are still not going to be as bad as even some people in the South. I think our low for the next week is going to be like 11 degrees, which is cold, but at least it's not like 0. I got to be honest, I don't know what happened with this bed. Everything was growing fine. If you remember, I planted 6 cabbages and 3 Romanesco broccolis in here. And over the last couple of days, every day I come out, there is a missing plant. And there's really no signs of it. And as you can see, this Romanesco, I'm just looking at it closely now, this Romanesco, this was eaten. So something is coming out here and eating this either early in the morning or at night. And so I'm just going to cover this now just as a deterrent. And this is the only one I have left in this bed. Anyway, I'm not going to bother with leaf mulch this year on this bed because I put a lot of compost down, so it should be fine. In this bed where I had the sauce tomatoes growing, a couple of sunflowers, I still have some things growing in here. I've got some broccoli rabe. The borage is done, I think, and I think the calendula, although they're still green, so there is a chance they'll come back from the frost. When they turn black, then that's gone. And I've got, let's see, I think this is a Waltham broccoli. I'm not really sure. But as you can see, I didn't take the tomatoes down. That was another chore I just didn't get to. I'm fine with that. I would have liked to clean up some of the tomatoes that fell to the ground, but if I get some volunteers next year, that wouldn't be the worst thing. I still have some beets growing in here and some carrots, and I had pretty heavily mulched and composted this spring, so I think that this bed is going to be tackled in the spring as well. And the chamomile, boy, did that get overheated in the really, really hot parts of the summer, but that's coming back now. Likes the cooler weather. So we'll see. I just harvested a bunch of carrots out of here this week for dinner, which was nice. So this is my shade garden area. This is where I decided to collect all of the marigolds that I pulled, all of them. And then they've got lots and lots of dead heads on the flowers. So what I'm hoping is maybe I'll get some volunteers. I don't know if they'll grow in the shade next year, but a couple of them did. So let's try it. If anything, it makes a nice mulch. So I just discovered that my little fountain is kind of frozen shut. I'm going to have to bring it inside and thaw it. I thought I could get to it before it froze because the fountain was just working yesterday. All right. Anyway, I had dropped a couple of pea plants in here, and that was, I guess October, and they've grown. Now, I'm not going to get any real peas out of them, I don't think, because the flowers don't like frost, but the plants themselves are doing fine. So let's see what happens to them over the winter. And as you can see, I did the same thing with the marigolds and even the zinnias. I just threw them over here and hopefully get some volunteers. So going up to the deck now, I wanted to show you how the things in the green stalk are doing. They have not been too harshly affected at all by the frosts and the dipping temperatures we've been having. You can see the New Zealand spinach. I did cut that back quite a bit because it had just gotten so overgrown, but we've got the sage there, some dill, some more dill, some baby chard, still growing, some of the more mature chard, some arugula. So what I did was, and some spinach. And what I had done was I had interplanted some spinach, direct sown them around some of the plants that I knew I had to pull before the cold weather came, like basil. So now the spinach is starting to come up. And here is the giant winter spinach that's starting to really grow nicely. And we've got the herb containers. We've got oregano, thyme, green onions, rosemary, more thyme, chives. We also have some kale here. And more spinach. The lemon balm plant, some parsley, and this is actually a pine tree seedling that direct seeded itself, this one too, when I used pine cones as like a Christmas decoration up here a couple of years ago. And this is like, these are 2-year-old seedlings. So I'm just keeping them in there like, kind of like a nursery. Let's see, we have oregano, more parsley, cilantro, catnip, more thyme, and more catnip. Well, I kind of find this hilarious. I had planted some carrots in this grow bag. I think it was in the fall, with the idea of keeping them close to the house and seeing how they grow in a bag. And my neighbor's dog apparently really, really loves to eat carrot tops. So all of the carrot tops have been eaten away. So I'm not hopeful that those carrots will make it. But I put up here the Solomon seal. It's dropped all of its leaves. That'll overwinter just fine. And here's the butterfly bush, which is putting on new growth right now. So we'll see what happens. Right now it's just up close to the house. It should be a perennial here in Zone 7, so we'll see. And here's just a fig named Sue. He's dropped all of his leaves. He has some buds going on here. And my plan for him is to bring him inside once it really dips cold. And I understand they need a little bit of dormancy, so I think I'm going to put him down in the basement where it's cool but not freezing. And then I just mulched over the strawberries lightly with, this is some greenery, which actually I might bring inside and use as a Christmas decoration. Here are my rose bushes I brought up, keeping them close to the house. They should overwinter just fine. And the blueberries, this is their spot. the blueberry plants. So this lettuce didn't exactly make it. It's not liking the frost. I decided to put the pumpkins out here just to make room for my Christmas decorations, but these pumpkins are actually, the two bigger ones are actually from the summer of 21, not this year. So they're doing okay. I haven't carved them up and eaten them yet. So initially I was going to put this greenhouse back up and keep it up over the winter. I've decided not to do that for some reasons. One, I don't really need it to overwinter what I want to overwinter. I decided, since most of my herbs do so well outside overwintering anyway with no cover, if they do need a little bit of cover, I could always cover them with some frost cloth. I kind of don't want to overuse the plastic that covers the greenhouse because, you know, it can get damaged by the elements, especially in the winter. So to keep it kind of lasting a little bit longer, I'm just going to use this as a workbench for now. And in the spring, I'll use it, I'll put it back up again, put the plastic on, and use it to help propagate my seedlings. From this angle, you can really see all the cardboard that I've laid down over there, with the intention being killing off all of the crabgrass that's been growing there, and then in the spring kind of scatter planting a whole bunch of clover, white clover, which apparently is not only really good for the soil, I think it's in the same family as peas. They fix nitrogen, but also because they're one of the very first to bloom, and they'll attract bees pretty early on. So that's why it looks so terrible right now, but I'm hoping that by next summer we're going to have some really pretty ground cover there. So I thought I'd bring you inside the house, because no garden tour would be complete without a shot of Mancini, the pepperoncini. Oh, and Lady, of course. Say hi, Lady. Now, I know the common wisdom, if you want to overwinter your peppers indoors, you're supposed to cut them way back and let them go dormant. But I don't have the heart to do that. And he's still producing flowers, and he's still making peppers. And I think he just loves this extremely warm, sunny window. So we're just going to see how he does all winter. I also have some little seedlings here that I'm trying to propagate by root cutting, which I've never tried before, but they seem to be doing well. This is rosemary. We've got a clone of Mr. Mancini, the pepperoncini. We have a clone of a basil plant that I've liked very much, who looks like he's on his way out. So I thought, well, let me see if I can keep him going. And some weeds that self-seeded, but I like the way they look, and I think they might be Alyssium. I'm not sure. We've got the ginger over here. And my house plant that I don't know the name of is up there. And another type of a house plant. Those had been outside in the summer. I brought them in before it got down to about 50 at night. Okay, and on the bottom shelf of my little tea cart here, we've got the dahlias right there. They're not looking very good right now. I'm hoping it's just going dormant. We've got the paprika plant with a little paprika. And then another house plant doing well. We'll probably have to repot it in the spring. Well, that was the garden tour, the very last day of fall, the shortest day of the year, the winter solstice. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. And, oh, Lady decided to join us again. I hope you subscribe and join our little community here. And leave some comments down below and let me know what you're doing, how you're handling getting ready for this cold blast of weather. Lady and Fluffer wish you Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year's, and from the Ladies Garden and Home, enjoy your gardening journey.